Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to go outside and get some of this magical sunshine. And Venus goes retrograde today. So be sure and dress accordingly. So grab your bell bottoms, your parachute pants, and get ready to do the Charleston Chew. No, that's candy bar. Okay, we got a lot to cover, so I'm probably going to have to break it up. This video will mainly focus upon the tropical system that we believe will become Michael, that is in the Gulf of Mexico, though we got a lot of stuff to track. It's brought to us by Bobby Storm. Okay, this one is for you. Aw, thanks, Bobby. If this doesn't inspire you on the wacky world we live in, the difference between models is GFS doesn't lose Leslie ever. Only watch Leslie vs. Euro and others. Okay, great. And then over here we got our main man, Cranky Weather Guy. And he's knocking it out the box because he and I like to compare shit to the sun and see what happens. Because remember, when the sun acts weird, Earth weather acts weird, and then people act weird. Right now we have a giant Earth-facing coronal hole that will be geo-effective. It will affect our magnetic field and probably our minds and our hearts and our souls. Plus, the chance of earthquake and volcano activity goes up considerably when we get a heavy solar wind stream like this and are facing a coronal hole. Scientists may say that's not true, but it seems like most scientists just like say carbon, 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 whereas we like to be eclectic in our awesomeness. So we include volcanoes and the sun. And another point I want to reiterate, the solar system, because all the planets are on the same side. So radial velocity, is that right? Dang, it's fancy words and I forgot it. I'll figure it out. What was it talking about? Okay, let's go back to Cranky. All right, so we got multiple systems that we are watching all over the oceans. 4 sets of twins last night in terms of tropical and northern extratropical storm alignments. So yeah, it's a badass situation. And then he's taking a look over at our solar activity for fun. And we got 4 sets of twins aligned. Also, perhaps a similar feature to the large circular storm. So, the sun is acting weird. Earth weather acting weird. Yeah, people are acting weird. Definitely. And a lot of people are really angry. But that's what I'm saying. Go out to the sun. The last 3 days, the sun has just been magnificent and awesome. Now, the main reason, somewhere at the beginning of September, I put out a warning starting on September 26th to the end of October is because planet Eris, which is the planet that got Pluto demoted, will be lining up with Earth somewhere around the 15th, 16th, or 17th. And so I think that could cause some effects on Earth. Eris was the planet that got Pluto demoted because it was so big. And then they're like, nah, it's not that big. And I was like, well, okay, whatever. And then remember, all the planets are on the same side. And then the Eris alignment. This is going to be important. Now, let's get to the big enchilada. Oh no, I'm making you listen to a lot of other information before I get to the storm. So yeah, and then our boys, Scott Shepard, I think, or was it Brown? No, Scott Shepard found a whole nother planet. And then the other boys are looking for planet 9. And so there's our little solar system right there. And it's like when sometimes scientists are like, carbon, 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 carbon. I'm like, dude, it's a whole lot of things. Solar system, our planet, very dynamic process. And so now we found all these giant planets, and so they all affect each other. And so they found a brand new planet. We're watching Eris, which is one of these in here by Sedna. And it could actually be one of the others, but we'll see. We're getting close, though, because since I gave my alert, there was the tsunami in, and then they found an exomoon. And then there was a tsunami in, where was it? Indonesia. And then they had the 7.7 earthquake, then the tsunami. And then they had the volcano erupt. And then on the 4th, Dutch Sins reported that 10 different volcanoes erupted around the world, and the 4th was yesterday. So, and then we've had other activity. I'm just saying, I'm listing those at the top for why I've called shit could get really weird from the 26th of September to this month. So if you like scary, spooky stuff, then this severe weather month is going to be the month for you. And so right now, I am definitely concerned about the Caribbean. And I am not the only one, because the weather team is fantastic. And we're all in this together. So we're watching these giant systems. And we're wondering, how bad is it going to get? Are they going to form? Is it going to be a hurricane, tropical storm? We don't know. But I'll start it off easy and light. Like the JMA, these are models. They're not real. They're computer simulated. And sometimes computers make mistakes. Or garbage in, garbage out. So we got to play this 3-card Monty game with style and flair. So we'll go easy to heavy. JMA is like, nah, nothing. You ain't really got to worry about much. And then the GFS is like, yeah, you guys don't really have to worry about, as far as that storm goes, you don't really have to worry about a hurricane. But I'm saying no matter what, you got to worry about a whole lot of rain in areas that don't need any more rain. And so the GFS doesn't show a tropical storm or a hurricane. But people like to make fun of the GFS. But I say, no matter what, the rain signatures you get on here, meaning the amount of green compared to the non-green, and green is where it's raining, GFS is usually pretty accurate on that. It just doesn't always have the placement. And sometimes people are like, no, that's not true. But people say that all the time. It's like now, if you got a social media account, you know everything. And so I have been tracking the size of the rain bands for years. And it started when they were like this size. I was like, wow, that's giant. And they just kept growing. And so we were watching this new atmospheric river that continues to show itself as it gets bigger in repetition over all the way from Mexico with the volcano that has been erupting all week, Popocatépetl, over Texas and then up the East Coast. That's why a lot of these areas are breaking rainfall rates like crazy, like never before. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so GFS, it doesn't have a hurricane, but it still has some really wild and wacky weather. And so if I'm right, and we are going to see some effects from both the coronal hole that looks like it has bow shock on it, and the Eris alignment, and all the planets on the same side, then this combination of factors, we're definitely watching, it will peak with the Eris alignment around the 15th, 16th, 17th. And, like 10 days, up to 10 days, 2 weeks after. And so, I don't know if the models will be able to handle all that stuff. But definitely, we have a lot of reasons to be looking out. So this is the Euro, which everyone says, oh, it's King Euro, it's the best, it's greatest, all time. Like if they had to make out with one of these models, most meteorologists would pick the Euro. So the Euro shows in the Gulf of Mexico some type of, this looks like it would be a hurricane. They don't have model numbers on it, but that definitely looks tight enough to be a hurricane. And the waters in the Gulf are hot like a bathtub. You ever had a girlfriend who liked the bathwater a whole lot hotter than you did? Anyway, it would be like that. If you didn't, then just imagine it. Okay, now it starts to get scary. So if you're under 18, you shouldn't be watching this in the first place. This is Asteroid Fight Club. Who knows what you can hear here? I don't even know, with like the millennial kids and the way kids are treated today, you might be like 18 and still believe in Santa Claus. Or if you're 16 watching this and your parents haven't told you yet that Santa Claus isn't real. I don't want to be the jerk that's like, oh my God, you lied. Santa Claus isn't real. What was it talking about? Oh yeah, this is scary. And so the icon is like, we got a hurricane that kind of floats. It does that floaty thing, which is kind of sitting in place for a while. We don't like that, us here in Houston or the people in the Carolinas, which stalls out and drops a lot of rain. And then, what did he say? Oh, yeah. The FV3 GFS is like boom. But if you'll notice, there's a lot of green. No matter which one of the models I'm showing you, there's a lot of green. So there's going to be a lot of rain in a lot of places. So the GFS has a hurricane hit between Mississippi, Alabama, and then riding up the East Coast, which doesn't want it. Like, they have a lot of flooding in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, I believe, in a lot of the areas, because we keep seeing patterns like this. They keep getting bigger and rainier. And so, like, that is a lot of ground to cover with rain in one day, half day, 6-hour span. So, yeah, we're definitely on high alert. And so the GFS has a hurricane hit. And wait, did that just have it roll? That rolls up the coast. And we were watching the volcano range here for any type of new activity that might be north, towards California, or just upper Mexico. But don't stare into the models too much. Sometimes they stare back into you. And then watch. Remember, when a low hooks up the front, that is what we call a Quetzalcoatl monster storm. And the storms are crazy. In UK, you better be watching out too. What is that new one that just pops out of nowhere? Plus, you got Leslie sitting out in the ocean. They don't know what she's going to do. And she was just sitting there since, I don't know how many, since the 19th of September. And so hurricanes that just kind of sit in place kind of freak me out. I shouldn't say that. I'm your planetary defense commander. You're be like, oh my God, our planetary defense commander gets freaked out by stationary hurricanes. And the models have been showing multiple hurricanes hitting or being very near Europe. So that's super fascinating. CMC, now if I put it at the end, that means it must be kind of doomy. Can you handle it? Are you Asteroid Fight Club material? Because we're here to win. We're here to meet these challenges together. Repair, rebuild, and then find higher ground to where we can build brand new badass cities of the future. Like we're promised, with flying cars and jetpacks and shit. And transportation systems that were designed from scratch to work for everybody. Cool stuff. Anyway, so the CMC has this hurricane going more west towards Louisiana, and then doing a little bit of a spin out, and then carrying off. And if you'll notice, it hooks up with this front, which is heading west, and heads out, boom, and then it heads up through out the coast. And look at the giant Azores high here. This has been the key to everything. Like, if this turns like this with Leslie in the ocean, it can still kick Leslie. We're watching Leslie get crazy. It's just none of the models ever imply that you could do any damage. But I'm like, I don't trust the models. All right. Now for the, oh my God, I don't even, you're serious? Like, this is what, remember, I put out the alert like a month ago for this, and it's almost, you'll see. All right, so that's the first frame. That's now. So yeah, there's a lot of rain on the board. And then we see the hurricane forming. And then boom. It's that it would definitely affect like Alabama, Florida, Mississippi. And remember, these storms are very potent even till they exit out the East Coast. And so this would be like a Cat 2, Cat 3. I don't know. I think, but either way, even if it's not a hurricane, this is going to bring a whole lot of rain. And these areas don't need a whole lot of rain, as far as I know. But if you look at like the last frame, like just look at that, man. And that would be on the 11th. And so look at how much rain, and some of these frames continue to show the possibility of a hurricane strike. But not only that, some type of rain bands or a rain blanket, a rain cake, just a giant cake of rain that's over like 40% of the United States. That's a weird, giant, massive superstorm, and on this model has the two binary hurricanes directly across from each other, a giant high system. So I think we're gonna have to keep our eyes on the sun And we're all in this together, so do your own research, of course. And I guess now we don't have a lot of time if it is going to be a hurricane, if people are going to have to evacuate. So definitely have a plan, be prepared, get ready. I mean, like, I don't know, I made a video like a week ago talking about this. And then a lot of people were like, oh, you can't just say you're going to be a hurricane. Well, even if it's not a hurricane, let me show you something. Okay, this is the ocean right now. And this is water vapor, I think. Yeah, and so that is Sergio, I think, something like that. Right now, he's supposed to go like this and then loop back over, but we got a couple days for that. But Mexico, you need to be watching out. Look at all this giant moisture here, and then we got all this moisture here. And you got moisture coming up the top, but look at how this puffs up, and there's just a ton of wetness to work with Mother Nature. And then from there, here's another look at the water vapor. But as you can see, that this is going to bring some pretty eye-popping, jaw-dropping rain totals. And so this we see here is not even part of the storm that would hit. We're getting a whole lot of rain right down the middle of America. These areas don't need any rain either. They've had flooding. Lakes are high. Rivers are high. So let's all get high in life together. And so here is the one where it's like, yeah, I mean, no matter what, you know, people get hung up on like, is it a hurricane? What category? It was a tropical storm. You said it'd be a hurricane. Dude, right now I see this pink shit. Like, they didn't add this color until like 3 or 4 months ago. Like, once 50 inches of rain fell on Hawaii, and then 50 inches of rain fell in Houston, and then like 40 inches of rain fell in the Carolinas. Like, they're like, okay, we need a new color because this doesn't represent, this is what total water that is going to participate in the storm, total precipitable water. And so they had to add pink. It's like 3 inches is it's like every 3 hours or 6 hours. I don't know. But I'm just saying, if you see pink, that means you can get 20 inches of rain in a day. Unless it stalls out, then you can get a lot more. And so, see all this pink that is in the Gulf? And remember, it goes in pulses. I'm pretty sure with the sun and the magma inside. And all the factors. And some carbon, too. Let's get everybody in on this. All right. So, that is the thing that's going to be headed this way. So, it doesn't matter what the category of wind speed it's going to be when it lands. It's going to flood out some areas, do some damage. And if we are not prepared properly, it's probably going to kill some people. And as your planetary defense commander, almost all of these, all the deaths and all these storms and hurricanes could have been avoided on some level in some way if we worked together and all the corporations put the cool technology on the table so we could build stuff that could withstand heavy winds. So what I'm saying is, yeah, let's go back to over here where this has it hitting 9. So we got like 4 or 5 days to prepare and plan. And so, you know, the whole month-long trial, I spent the whole time warning people about South Carolina, North Carolina, Hurricane Florence. As far as I know, was the first human being on the planet to be like, oh my God, that thing's going to hit us. Probably. And then people are like, no. And then a week later, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And so I spent like, I don't know, like the 29th of August to up until the storm landed, just make a video after video where people were like, dude, it's just a storm. It knocked out 1,000 roads, dude. Anywho, and so what am I talking about? Oh, yeah. And during that, the trial's been going on. So the nomination thing, and that's still going on. So it's like we might get hit by 2 hurricanes during that damn thing. Anywho, that's my whole point. Yeah, so you got 5 days. And the warning is on, and it's definitely, I think it's going to get crazy for the next 10 days, 2 weeks. And so everybody needs to be prepared, and we will handle it together. And I just want to say thank you guys. I mean, I pay my bills and drink my beer, smoke my cigarettes. with y'all's help and contributions. And then I bring you this awesome information. I took the day off yesterday because there's really so much information that I need to talk to you guys about. This is a 20-minute video that we will get into. Because I figured out, you know, some of the stuff. Japan's about to get hit by its 9th typhoon, man. And the average is 2 or 3 a year. And so Japan is now its 9th typhoon. So I don't know. These are the waves from Leslie. And I don't know. What, you know, you paying attention to, but the weather's been pretty hot in Texas. Like it's in October, I think, and in other places it's really hot, and so I think this part of the ocean could stay hot, you know. So we'll get the cold side cold and the hot side hot, you know, like the McDLT, where the cold side stays cold, hot side stays hot, or sort of fire and ice. And what is this? Where'd this come from? There's a lot going on. I could talk to you all day. I want to say thank you guys for being with me in this adventure, for keeping hope alive, and for choosing to keep me as your planetary defense commander for another month. I'll do my best to get us where we need to go. But definitely the oceans are wild, weird, and wacky. And yeah, I don't know what's going on here. That is, I've never seen nothing like that. Yep. And so, yeah. So, I mean, we were watching out for earthquakes. I would guess, if my Eris theory is correct, we will see an 8.0 earthquake or larger. And that's some way to test the theory. I mean, I've said what I think it is Eris, because these kind of look like planetary systems. Or one of those planets on that giant thing. I mean, it might be Sedna. Sedna was the bigger badass. But I have reason to believe it's Eris. Okay, which we'll get into later. But what was I talking about? And so that we had a lot going on. And I just want to say thank you. But yeah, we just looked at the mean sea level pressure, because if there's always one go-to thing, like, oh, because people are like, you're fearmonger, you're overhyped shit. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, if I want to overhype shit anytime, I just go to the mean sea level pressure. Oh, no, it's not overhyping. And yeah, so this is the one I go to, and I'm like, because like that, you know, the blue means like hurricane strength shit, possibly. So like hurricane strength shit there, lines, patterns, giant shapes. Like, so these would, like in our solar system, these would be more like your gas giants, like Jupiter and Saturn, Neptune. And then the smaller ones would be like Mars and Earth and Mercury and Ceres. And so, yeah, we will test my theory. And if there is a earthquake of 8.2 or larger, today we have 10 or 15 more volcanoes going off, or we just better know that this is going to continue, but we should be able to figure it out a little better than we have been. And it's not doom, it's just we got to figure out where the planet's changing, how it's changing, and then we got to adapt to it. You know, we would have figured out a big piece of the puzzle. So that would be cool, as long as everybody just had to work together. Like, hey, if we want to save our own asses, this planet is Team Earth. That's what we got to do. It's like the third act of the movie. It's like, all right, we set aside our differences, like in Game of Thrones, to be ready for winter coming, or the planet changing in this Game of Thrones. Fire and ice. Crazy, wacky world madness. So, yep, 25 minutes. Man. I gotta say, and I barely even scratched the surface. Scratch the surface. Yeah, definitely shit is weird. So definitely smoke if you got them. If you got a girl or guy you love, give him a hug, give him a kiss. It would say panic cuddle. But I don't even know, man. Like flirting or any, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't, it's like scared to make jokes anymore. I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm over dramatizing. All right, so what? Yeah, we're definitely watching in Gulf. We got 5 days, and we will keep you updated, but you know, everything has the potential to be really weird and get really scary, weird weather-wise in a fast situation. So be prepared. And anyone on Earth, if you're along the coast, in case my earthquake theory is correct, if there is an 8.0, wow, look at that, earthquake, and you're near the coast, you know, I know that if I'm in Houston now, there's a small chance I could go to Dallas tonight, miracles and stuff. But I know that if there's like an 8 in the, wow, this is crazy, in the Gulf, then I would go north. And so just be prepared for when I warned you a month ago for that we might start seeing shit like this. Hey, we're seeing shit like this. But this is fascinating. We're getting to know our planet and how it works a whole lot better. Probably even the solar system. So that is cool. And that is why I am your Star Lord. New Thor 7. And we're cool. Because like the last 3 days, the sun has been beautiful, glorious, magnificent. I got faith in the sun. We are Team Earth and Team Solar System. We are all in this together. And the sun is awesome. And I am awesome. And you are awesome. And together, we are super mega winners. So I love you. And I will talk to you in the future. I will say, stay cool. And I love you.